This RSBANB update nibble originally aired on RSBANB update 724. Enjoy. At the end of the day, the sky is still blue, water is still wet, life carries on.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's just a cape.
I'm not in that push. And in some ways, you got to wonder how the original design with that many even got off the bat. If Moth Sports had those things about the entire grid of 50 capes being confusing.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Like, for me, this is actually a wonderful design. This is much more freedom, and it means that I have a much better chance of being able to get the comp cape. Like, this brings it within reach. This is the way that I like things. I like things where it's like, if you can work and earn it. There's no way I can do Reaper, no matter how good I get. Can't do it. So
yeah, that was kind of the main thing that put me off comp
this.
as well. Like, I know a lot of other people have said it as well, but group PVM is just way, way out of my reach, and I think will always be out of my reach. So kind of cuts me out of the whole. Now it's not on comp. There's a chance that, maybe, I could actually try for it.
And the biggest thing that people are missing out of this is one line in here that says that you can combine your passive stats with any cape, which means that capes matter again and frees us up to add better capes as rewards and drops in the future.
Oh,
so that's good.
Yeah, and they're going to be adding, if you think like this makes it easier for people, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
In the least, they are going to be adding so much. Every update.
Like, for example, the first ones that are going to be added, they're going to be adding the salty, sanding in EI, EIO, achievements to trip.
Yeah.
That's their replacement for Castle Wars. And I didn't I'll admit straight off, I didn't know the whole Castle Wars thing was an achievement. Was it 500 hours?
Joke.
And I could not believe when I read that was a genuine achievement. How did someone think that was okay to put in?
And Mod Jack put it the way it needed to be said. There's a question of how much standing around in a dead mini game is a good idea.
Yeah, replacing it in with the actually completing the arc and player-owned farms and Menethos and engaging with content that's been released. Of course they should replace it with something like that. To me, that makes sense.
Right now, the goal is to make as few changes as they can going forward. Also, with that, Mod Jack has an idea in the back of his head about how Reaper should be handled in the future, but that's not a conversation for today. That's a conversation for the future in regards to that one specific achievement with that. And in particular, as we said when we started off, Mod Jack said that this update with the milestones was an update that Jagex brought on themselves and no one asked for it. And, you got to wonder at that point, why did it get brought to the players? Because I know out there, Parnassius in particular is very upset about losing the milestones. But if, we had not been brought into this process, if they had just gone with the simpler design and started with that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So
no, we would be, but how ironic is that though? We would be singing the praises of, dude, this is a great comp rework. Hell yeah, it's exactly. I didn't even know I wanted it, but this, hell yeah, you know. But yet they Jagexed it, man. They told us more than asked for our input, and then gave us a super awesome, super convoluted design, and then said, "Oh wait, no, we're just kidding. We're going to do the simple thing."
But in their defense, it wasn't just "we're just kidding." It's the overwhelming response has been, "This is too complicated."
Yes. So the players think we're just kidding. That's what the players think.
Yeah.
Wrongly,
but I think it is important to bear in mind that this simplification is in response to what they've been told. That's the reason they put it out to players. They wanted to make sure they were on the right track, and they weren't.
That's the good part of it. That's the good news.
And when we started off this whole thing, Mod Jack and his 4Direction team were involved in it. And I said this is going to be a successful update. And barring the milestone issue, I think we are going to wind up with something successful because there is no clear definition of what should be on comp and what should be on trim. And
that surprises me to hear. I always assumed there would be.
Yeah. And that's why now there will be a clear understanding, and that perhaps is the biggest point with this.